Hello, hello. Yeah, will you speak for a sec?
Woo.
There
Yes.
you go. Yeah, you're good.
Testing. I like your outfit, by the way. It's
Thank
very
you.
cute. What does that say?
It says Death Row Records.
I like it.
I actually have
lips,
to
too.
give Vanessa a shout out. So she used to work with me at the radio station, and she's done like this little side hustle where she just does a bunch of tie-dye.
How fun.
Like really cool like vintage logos and stuff. And so I bought this from her. And she has
Cool.
so many more, so thank you, Vanessa.
What's her website or something? Like, I want to get some. Do you guys?
It's V Vibes Tees on Instagram.
V Vibes Tees.
V Vibes, VEEVIBES Tees. So yeah, I don't know the exact ad. I don't have it in front of me because I wasn't expecting to. Like,
I know,
shout
but like,
out, but
you know, just
you're gonna have to get one.
shopping
It's very
tips, you know?
astronaut, right?
It's very astronaut. I love it.
Yeah,
with
for
the
sure.
pants, everything. It's very galactic.
I know. I love it.
But like modern galactic.
It's
so.
like one of my very outrageous outfits that I can only wear on
love
this set.
it.
Welcome to Astro Candy. Hello, it's me, Raven, and this is Brittany.
Hi guys, how's it going?
And we have an awesome show planned today, one that I have been wanting to talk about for a while because it's just so, this is my life. Like, I lived it, and now I'm here to tell you how to not do it.
Oh my
You know what
gosh,
I mean? Like,
yes.
expert advice right here. It's about detaching your identity from your job. And you can like take job and replace it with something else, like a relationship or a friendship or just some outside source that you sort of identify with. I'm gonna tell you how to stop doing that and why you should. So that's this show. And
I love it.
excited to tell you about, Brittany.
Tell me.
And this is gonna be so much fun. And then we also have a spirit guide about someone who's in a relationship. She says her boyfriend's taking her for granted, so we have a lot to get to
Ooh.
today.
Yikes,
But
juicy.
we always start the show with a vibe check, and Brittany and I have the best story.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's good.
You have to tell it though,
Me?
Raven.
Okay.
Yeah, because you really experienced it firsthand.
I
didn't find out till later.
Brittany had
All
no
this was
idea what was
happening.
happening. Well, basically, we film Astro Candy on Tuesdays, and it's like religiously.
It's a standing
It's like
date.
church on Sunday.
Yep.
And we don't even really discuss it outside of like what the show is going to be, but it's just like on Tuesdays at 3:30 we're filming, and that's that.
We candy.
Yes, exactly. So I get ready, show up to Brittany's house around like 3:50. It was a little bit late on this Tuesday. And I'm standing at her door and I knock. And, you know, sometimes she takes a second to get to the door. She's got like a big studio
never.
space. And I just bumped this. I was giving Brittany such a hard time about bumping the mic. And here I am like, ugh. And so I don't hear anything, like no footsteps, nothing. And so after like 3 minutes, I knock again. And nothing. And so then I like was super creep and kind of like peered through like her little window, and I could see the lights were off, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't think she's here. Like, what happened to Brittany? Where did she go? I freaked out because, like I said, every Tuesdays religiously we film this show, and I could not fathom what would have come up that like you wouldn't be here.
And I wouldn't even
on
say
a Tuesday
anything,
or
right?
say anything.
Like let you know.
Exactly.
Like that's just
so out of character. I was like texting my boyfriend. I was texting my friend Alyssa. I was texting my mom, and I was like, "Where's Brittany? She can't be found." Like, at what point do I get concerned?
there's like
what
an
do I
alert
do?
out for me, like
Yes, exactly.
I'm on the news, like
And so I went to this nearby coffee shop and was like, okay, I'm just gonna like sip some coffee and give her like an hour or
this is
so.
so sad.
And
This is so sad.
and you know, just like then I'll go home and file a missing persons report. So
yeah.
it was like, I don't know, 30 minutes later, Brittany texts me and she's like, hey, remember we changed the schedule, like we're filming tomorrow instead. And I was like, oh my
Like,
God.
what?
Yeah.
Well, and it was one of those things where it was like the perfect storm, which we've been talking about today. Just how like a lot of things like in the energy, the vibes have been wild.
Wild vibes, chaotic energy.
Yeah, like not necessarily bad, not good. Like this wasn't great, but like no one died, nothing really happened. So I was in Cool Sculpting and getting a treatment at Anderson. They're one of the sponsors of my TV show Be Zen. And so I was getting this treatment. So I didn't have my phone even near me. So it was perfect storm because like I couldn't even I didn't even know Raven was looking for me. So like she's over there thinking I'm like
Not only was
kidnapped,
I looking for you, but
dead.
I was like concerned you were in a ditch
Yeah,
somewhere.
she's like, she's dead. So then I get out and I'm like, oh my gosh, Raven, I see all these texts. She was so sweet. You were so sweet too.
Well, I was just, my number one concern was to make sure you were okay. Like, I didn't even care that, like, you know, you weren't there. I just want to make sure you were alive. I have this, like, really weird things. Like, with my people, I don't have many.
Sweet.
So with my people, I'm just, like, very protective of, like, concerned about. And also I have anxiety, so.
Well, you were like, your text, you're so sweet, though. Your text was like, hey, I'm here, exclamation point. And then the next one was like, hey, lady, WYA. Like, where you at? And then the next one was like, okay, well, I'm at the coffee shop across the way. Just gonna sit here for a second. Like, let me know what's up. Just worried about you. I was like, that is so sweet.
Yeah.
Aw.
I played the concerned friend very well because, like, I don't know. That's just, like, my role in life, I think. Just the concerned friend.
She's got an
So if you
Aquarius
need
vibe.
one,
she knows how to use it.
Here I am. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that both of our vibes
It was
this week
funny at the time, you
have
guys.
just sort of been chaotic energy.
Yeah.
And I say this every week. It's like something new for me. Something is amiss. There's like a new obstacle, a new challenge, and it's like, damn, like a roller coaster where you don't have a seatbelt on. So
Yeah, she's like, I don't have my seatbelt on. I'm in a car, and I'm going 100 miles an hour. She said that like when she first got here.
Honestly,
I was like dying laughing.
And I'm also dramatic, so.
Well, you know, we love it though. We love your drama. That's what gives us the spice of life that we crave.
Thank you.
Do you think it's because you're an Aquarius though, Raven? And like this age of Aquarius shift, everyone's talking about it really like happening in December.
I think that this shift is wreaking havoc on anyone with any Aquarius in their sign. Like,
weigh in, guys. DM us. We want to know.
I truly feel like just like my whole world has been turned upside down, which I want to, you know, be cognizant of. We're in a pandemic and everyone is really going through it. But the amount of like personal, like shifting that's happened in me, like a lot of shadow work I've done, a lot of just like inner demons being brought to the surface.
That's
like
right.
there's just been a lot happening and I'm working through a lot and it's exciting and scary. And I don't know, I'm just chalking it up to we're going into the age of Aquarius.
Yes, we are.
And then come January 1, it is my time.
She's going to be rising to the top of the ranks.
Exactly. I'm going to be the queen of the world.
Just keep an eye on it, you guys. Keep your eyes here. You're going to want to see this.
Send thoughts.
She's going to come in with a clown,
Before
like
that
a
moment.
crown, a clown, a crown, or a
No,
clown,
it's
whatever.
been scary enough, okay?
That'd be weird, but okay.
But that is one reason I really love this show is because I feel like this grounds me, it centers me, and I find that like even though I come bursting into Brittany's studio with a very like chaotic energy, I'm just like, all right, time to be zen, no pun intended.
Ooh, I like that.
Get it? Because like
Get it? 'Cause that's
zen
my show.
TV show. So I really want to talk about this today
'Kay.
because it is so pertinent in my life. Well, it has been before. It's a mistake that I've made, and it's one that I think we all make at some point in our lives, especially when you're a young career professional.
Totally.
You have this tendency to, we all do, make our job our identity. And it's all fine and well when things are going fine and well. But, you know, the second things start to get rocky, especially in your professional life, especially now in a pandemic where, you know, there are layoffs and, you know, companies are downsizing. It's like having your identity attached to your job is not a place you want to be in. And so I sort of want to save you from that, like save you from the inevitable, which is businesses, companies. That's what they are. They're businesses, they're companies, they're corporations that make business decisions. And sometimes no matter how much heart and soul and energy and effort that you put into your job, you will be, and I hate breaking it down like this, but you will be a name on a list with a number, and you might be the next budget cut, especially right now. There are so many, I can speak to this. I'm in this spot, and this is why I've detached myself from my job because my identity from my job because the radio industry, and I don't think it's a secret, is not doing well. And a lot of big media conglomerates like my own have had to make really tough financial decisions. And as a radio personality, someone who, my personality is quite literally defined by my job.
Yeah.
It's been such a tough pill to swallow as far as just kind of, you know, surrendering to the idea that this company might not need me anymore or so anything could happen really and I would be out of a job tomorrow. And so I've been doing a lot of inner work about this because it's something that I realize has become unhealthy, the attachment that I've had. And so we're going to talk about that. And Brittany, do you know where I'm coming from with this? Like, have you ever made...
I'm like not saying a peep. I'm just like... Because this is some Aquarius level shadow work that I try to avoid, my friend. You're the person that actually alerted me to this. I didn't know that I did this.
What?
Yeah, you told me this like a long time ago. Well, like several months ago when you guest hosted BZN TV and you interviewed me. And you told me, I forgot like how you said it, and it wasn't mean. It was just like an observation. You were like, you are BZN, like this is you. And you meant it like in a good way.
Yeah.
Like it was a creative expression that was like authentic and true. But it really is me. And when you said that, I was like, ooh, yeah, I am so like attached. Like this is my child, my identity, my everything. Like, and then when things have been stressful this year, like I'm sure you guys have experienced as well, you know, in our own little worlds, like I was like just terrified at times. And luckily, like, you know, knock on wood, so far so good. We're still here. Hasn't been the most year, like it hasn't been a year of growth or thriving necessarily. It's been survival. But like, I think if my identity was less and my ego was less tied into what I do, if I had a little less love for it, I would be more balanced. So are you going to teach us how to do that?
I am going to.
Is that what today's about?
Yeah. The first, it's kind of like a,
Sorry, I just went on for a second there. I was like,
it's like the first step to anything is just admission. So really quick, I want to be clear that it is totally okay to associate yourself with what you do, but it becomes a problem when it becomes who you are, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So that's what I really want to tackle here. And also, you know, having some type of emotional attachment to your job is a good thing. You know, it inspires productivity. You do a better job when you love what you do and there's like a part of you in it. But it's really important to realize when you become too attached. And I think that is when you start to identify with your job. And so we're going to talk about these signs right now, to the signs that your identity is your job.
Okay.
And I really want you listening, watching, to sort of take a second to, you know, really ask yourselves these questions. Is this true to me? And then we'll move forward. So the first one is, if it's all you talk about, if all you're talking about is what you do at work and, you know, any problems that arise or, you know, your level, your status, the things that you're doing for the company, take a second. Now we all discuss our job, but it shouldn't be everything we talk about, right?
Right.
You should have other facets of your life that you discuss: family, friends, hobbies, things like that.
For sure.
So there's one.
Okay.
Two,
Good one.
if when someone asks you about your job, you only talk about what you do. So again, it kind of goes back to it's all you talk about.
Yeah.
So if someone's like, oh, hey, if they ask about you, so it's like, hey, so tell me about yourself. And the first thing you say is, well, for me, it'd be like, well, I work for iHeartRadio and I'm a radio personality. You know, if that's it, if that's all you say, then it's kind of, I don't know, telling, I guess, that it might be your identity. And the last one is you use your job to prove your self-worth. Ooh. And that's like one of those like icky shadow worky things. But it's true. Like I have based my job performance, my ratings numbers on me personally. And it's really not a place you want to be in, because those things, ratings numbers, are so, I mean, they're so erratic.
Right. They're subjective. They're
changeable. So subjective. Exactly.
There are certain variables that you really can't control, like everything in life, right? You guys, like, I mean, you can apply that to anything. Yeah. So if you get too attached, then you're always going to be in a state of like, I mean, that's the roller coaster.
That is the roller coaster, especially when like anybody critiques you on something that you do at work. Then you just take it so personally.
Right.
Or when they make decisions, you know, like say you've worked all day on some Excel document trying to make a better process for whatever it is. And then your boss is like, actually, that's not the best way to do it. Let's do it this way. And then you're just like, oh, but I spent so much time. Like, what do you mean? Like, why isn't this the best way?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just a little too invested. You're a little too close to it, because maybe if you step back, you'll see your boss's way was better. There's so many, it's hard to cover because there's so many jobs. And I don't know, you just have to kind of like take what I'm saying for what it is and apply it to your job, your life. And I can only speak to my own. And this is definitely like, has rung true for me.
Yeah.
Attaching my self-worth to what I do.
So what helped you to kind of shift it? Was there like a moment or like a practice that you personally like have taken on? And
so the moment I realized it was time to shift my focus from my job and making that all of who I am was when the pandemic hit, and I started to realize that the people working in my industry, the radio industry, were assets, but at the same time, assets are disposable. And sometimes you have to cut assets if they're too expensive.
Right.
And I think I started thinking what would I do if I lost my job? And that thought just sort of crippled me.
Yeah.
Because it was and it still does to a degree, because it's this is all I've known. This is all I've worked for. Not just this job, but this career. And it's just oh my gosh, I think I said something along the lines of, I would just become undone. And that's when I realized oh my God, Raven, you are not this career. You are not this job. Your life will go on if you lose your job.
Yeah.
And so that was when I realized there was a problem. As far as fixing that problem, it's been tough. For me personally, it's been just finding other avenues and outlets for my creative process. And that's been Astro Candy. And it's been finding people outside of the radio industry like you, and you have a great network of friends and people that I've gotten to meet because of that. Yeah, and it's just really expanded my vision of what success is. And there are so many other opportunities and jobs and careers, and Daniela Bell, for example, with her lashes, and Caroline with she's got a whole lifestyle brand and music, and there's just so many people doing so many amazing things. And I think what's cool about it is they all have different skill sets. And that's the one thing, you can be let go from a job, but that doesn't mean you don't still have that skill. Right. That's something people can't take away from you. They can take a job away from you, but they can't take away your talent. They can't take away your work ethic, your skill. And so just sort of surrendering to that again, and just realizing, I think it's just stepping away, and then also realizing there are other things out there.
Totally. I love that. Not thinking that whatever happens outside of you can take away who you are, what you have to offer the world. And that's why when I was thinking of this topic, I was thinking about the different signs, and you guys can research your sign to go into it deeper, your sun sign, and what it is that, typically kind of makes you tick. But what that is. And once you kind of realize and embrace who you really are, you can find anything to plug that into.
Oh, for sure.
So for you, it could be radio, podcasting, product line, and then for you guys, if let's say you're an accountant, so maybe you get let go from that job, but you could, do some an accounting blog, or you could do an accounting podcast, or you could do some accounting for a friend or a side hustle. I don't know, there's just always something. So
many other, when
we expand our minds.
And that's the thing,
the ego doesn't let you do that.
The ego doesn't let you do that. I was a victim of pigeonholing myself, if that makes sense. It was I had, think of a maze, and I had just walked myself through this maze and didn't see any way out because I was so close to it. And I was well, this is it. That's it. This is
the thing. This is what I work for,
it was hey, actually, if you just zoom in a little bit and see there's an exit over here and over here and over here. So you said, expanding your mind, realizing there's other opportunities out there for you, that's going to get you to a really good place mentally. So as far as, what to do if your identity is your job, here's a few things. So consider what really matters to you outside of your career. So is it your home life? Is it your relationship? Is it your family? What are your talents? What are causes that you care about? There is so much more to life than work. And I blame society on that. Yeah. I blame the Ford society. Remember how
the assembly line thing?
The assembly line thing, and the working 9 to 5, they figured it would be the most efficient way to get all those parts made and cars made.
Yes.
You'll have to look into it. And I'm talking about Ford cars, for example. But I really blame society on making us feel as though if you're not working your ass off 9 to 5, hustling and putting your blood, sweat, and tears into things, you're worth nothing.
It's putting yourself in a box versus allowing your mind to be expanded into seeing that you have worth across the board, and you get to decide where to apply your talents and how.
Exactly.
And we've talked about people on the podcast before that do that, like Kat Sadler's story.
Yes. Yep.
She created a blog after being let go from E! For standing up for herself. Jenna who has Fitish.
Oh, Kid Craddock Morning Show.
She used to be on the morning show. Now she's like using her talents for a podcast and product line. So it's like you see these people that are really inspiring because they've expanded on their skill set and they're not tied to one thing.
Exactly. And that's honestly where you find the most success.
Totally.
It's kind of like when you do pigeonhole yourself, when you do think like, oh, this job is it's the end all be all, like that's when you are just sinking your own ship. So get off that ship.
Your own spaceship, if you will.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Astro Candy vibes. Also remember, you're more than your job, okay? And you also just have to focus on, like I said, other roles in your life. Your job is not the end all be all. And like, I know that's a tough pill for some people to swallow. It was for me because 7-8 years in this career, like I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with everyone in my life. Like, this is it. My life is over. Yeah. Like I'm mourning this period of my life. And I mean, I still have a job, but I'm just saying like the shifting radio industry has shown me like I'm not bulletproof and neither is the industry. Yeah. And this could come crashing down at any moment. So what am I going to do when it does? And that's where I realized my self-worth is not defined by anything outside of myself. I'm still just as talented and I have the same skill set as I will with or without this job. Yeah. You're going to be okay with or without that thing that you have. And once you realize that, it's just amazing, like the possibilities and opportunities that open up.
Totally. I think that 2020 has been like a year of that. Like your personal experience is like a microcosm of like what I think so many people are going through right now. And that's why I love that you brought this up today, like for us to talk about. It's one of those things that, you know, you don't want to have to get into it, like with shadow work or seeing these parts of yourself that like, they're just difficult to deal with.
They're ugly.
They're ugly. They're the ugly things. But then once we like embrace that side of ourselves, that's when we have those breakthroughs. And like 2020, I feel like it's just an example of that. Everybody's been forced to have that 2020 vision, which has turned out to mean a lot more than we thought it was going to mean in the beginning of the year.
Oh my gosh.
It's seeing things clearly. And the truth is nothing is promised and we have to live that way. Whether it's putting our hearts into the things that we care about, people, remembering what's important in life. Like it's not this one thing.
Truly.
It's about how we express our hearts, our souls, our purpose.
Absolutely.
So you have to live your purpose.
I saw this on TikTok and like it just came to mind or else I would like give you her but she basically said there's 2 ways you can live your life, goal-based or value-based. And with a goal-based life, you'll always be shooting for the next thing and therefore you'll never be happy. But if you live a value-based life, like who do you want to be? How do you want to show up in the world? Like what do you want to bring to the world, the table, your family, your friends? Then you'll always be fulfilled. So keep that in mind. We're kind of running low on time. I've just like got really into this. I was super attached to it apparently.
It's good.
But let's do a quick spirit guide. So I'm going to start reading this. It's where you ask us a question and we give advice and also seek advice from spirit. I don't know what to do. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 2 years, but our relationship sort of plateaued. He rarely asks me out anymore. I know there's not much to do because of the pandemic, but I've suggested socially safe things to do like hiking or a restaurant, and he doesn't seem interested. I miss when he would do thoughtful things like buy me candy or bring home flowers. I feel like he's taking me for granted. What should I do? And that's from Emily. Thank you, Astronaut Emily, for sending that in. What's Spirit have to say?
Well, Astronaut Emily, Spirit's got a clear message, 2 of Swords. So this card represents someone who doesn't believe that they have as much power in a situation that they actually have. And you mentioned something in the question about how, what was it? There was something that sounded powerless to me. It kind of...
our relationship has plateaued. I've suggested socially safe things for us to do. He doesn't seem interested. I miss when he used to do thoughtful things for me, like candies and flowers. So if we're...
It seems trapped. The energy, she feels like trapped.
She seems
and powerless to change it.
But here's the thing. Like Brittany said, this is you have more power than you think you do. And I think like you just mentioning, you know, he used to do thoughtful things for like me, like buy me flowers or my favorite candy. my favorite thing to do is do what you want someone to do for you, for yourself.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you can do that, and also lead by example. Like, y'all have been together for 2 years. I know things get stale, but why don't you do something thoughtful for him? Just like take the reins on it, I guess. Like, you're more powerful, or you have more say than you think, and show him how to lead the relationship. And I think that he will once you sort of give him a nudge. It's going to be more than just suggestions. It's going to be leading by example.
And if he doesn't do it,
then write in and we'll ask Spirit.
I say never be afraid to draw a boundary. Take that sword and chop it. I'm kidding. Just kidding. I do think that communication is super important. So like, if it's really a big deal for you, this is your relationship. Don't be afraid to have a sit down, maybe make it fun, have a little glass of wine, be like, hey, let's hang out, And then when y'all are both in a good mood and everyone's chill, be like, there's something that I've been wanting to talk to you about. It's a really big deal to me. I don't want to come down on you. I love you. I love our relationship. I just want a little bit more from you. It means a lot to me when you do these things. And I've noticed that we haven't really been doing them as much. So if you would do it, like, it would just mean the world to me. That's it.
It's
Leave it there.
Amazing what
have
like
a
a
sip of wine,
single conversation can solve.
and see what happens. And if you see more, then good. And if you don't, then maybe it's time to have a boundary setting conversation. Then we go from there.
Yeah,
but drop your swords. You got this, girl. Like, you have value. You have worth. You need to get what you want in every area of your life, including in love.
Yes, that's great advice. And so is our modern day mantra, which kind of goes back to, detaching your identity from your job or relationship or friendship. It says, the root of suffering is attachment. And that is from Buddha. And I would say that's so true. Like, things never bother me when I have no investment in them.
Yeah.
But it's the second, like, I put all of my marbles in one basket, if you will. Like, if I'm holding on to something, like, it's just bound to disappoint. It's bound to make you suffer, like Buddha says.
Totally.
So take that with you. That's our modern day mantra. And that is our show for Astro Candy. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are everywhere. Just search Astro Candy Podcast on any platform, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also watch us on YouTube and see all the behind the scenes and all that good stuff. So
we've got it all for you guys.
Next week, we're talking about love languages. We mentioned that in a previous episode, so we really want to get to that. Brittany's going to take the lead on that show. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
So that's why she's taking the lead. She's like so lovey-dovey, her Scorpio moon.
I can't help myself.
All right, we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.